So we have a here we go in North London. That's Arsenal for Viktor Gyokeres. And do you know what? Actually, let me be fair. The Ornstein bomber dropped first. So I'm not going to say we had a here we go. We had an Ornstein pipe bomb for Viktor Gyokeres, which obviously was a deal that we already knew was going to happen. You know, Arsenal had the deal basically agreed for a while, but there was a few little pieces that they had to put together. I guess they were talking about in the add-ons, whatever that, all that mumble jumble that we don't really need to care about, right? So we basically knew that Viktor Gyokeres to Arsenal was a done deal. And I mean, listen, they've been saying he only wants Arsenal for like 15 weeks. Like, okay, we get it, brother. You know what I mean? We only wants Arsenal. I'm gonna go on strike. I only want Arsenal. We get it. Calm down. You're going to get some, bro. You're going to get some, and you have got some because Arsenal have pretty much signed Viktor Gyokeres. And I think it's something, you know, again, I've did a video on him if you guys want to go and check it out, called The Unwanted Gunman. And when I said that I feel like he's, and I'm going to say it again, the most polarizing player in the game at the moment. Somebody that has stats that are up there with the greatest strikers we've seen in terms of the last 2 seasons. His stats that are unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? Like the numbers that he's putting up is ridiculous. But then I feel like the consensus around him compared to his numbers simply just do not match. And whether that's because of previous people like Darwin Núñez, Bastos, Jackson Martinez, guys that have come from that league and not done anything really, you know, to the extent of what they were doing in Portugal. I think that is something that is causing a lot of hesitancy towards him. So like, I'm even seeing with this here we go now, like, you know, I'm looking at, you know, Arsenal fans' reactions, and it's not one of massive excitement. For example, if Eze was to get announced tomorrow, I mean, the excitement in the Arsenal fan base would be absolutely incredible. I think with Gyokeres, the jury is still out for him. And what does it look like for him? What does the jury even look like for him? I think when you look at what Gyokeres has to offer Arsenal, it's plain and simple. It's goals. It's goals. Because they have Havertz, who does all the general stuff, uses him as a battering ram. Jesus, who's fantastic on dribbling and running past people and causing chaos. But the goals was not enough. The simple task for Viktor Gyokeres at Arsenal is to score goals and be the goal scoring, how can I say it? Hold the goal scoring burden at the football club. You know, it's not, oh, we get there and Saka outscores or Martinez. No, Viktor Gyokeres needs to walk into Arsenal because Arsenal have felt like the missing piece, one of the missing pieces in their team is that number 9, is that goal scorer. In those games where Arsenal drew, I think, 13 games last season in the Premier League. And then you sit there and think to yourself, what if they had a gunman? What if they had a 9 who could just put the ball in the back of the net at any moment? Arsenal drew 14 in the league. So if you turn some of those draws into wins, all of a sudden you're looking at Arsenal and you're thinking, wow, this is their year to win the Premier League. So I think not even trying to hype pressure on him, but the pressure on Gyokeres at Arsenal is huge. It's more than Ekitike at Liverpool. It's more than a João Pedro at Chelsea. It's more than anybody else at the moment. Well, you don't know with Man United. Man United signs always have pressure. But the fact that the highlight was this player is the missing link, a striker, a number 9, to send Arsenal from perennial second place finishers to the top of the Premier League, to winning it. I think that's the pressure on Gyokeres' shoulder, and he has to come in and be somebody that delivers it. Arsenal scored 69 goals last season, which isn't really good enough, you know what I mean, when you consider that Liverpool scored 86 goals, you know? So Arsenal are going to need to get their goal scoring tally up. Now, of course, they had injuries. But I think if Arsenal can stay relatively fit, and then they've got the introduction to the team, there's no reason why when I look at Arsenal, as a fit Arsenal, what we have seen is they are at least a top 2 team in the Premier League. So they need to stay fit, of course, but you can say the same about Liverpool, you can say the same about City, you can say the same about everybody. I think Liverpool last season had a cleaner bill of health. I felt like they were healthy a lot longer than Arsenal were. However, that's not really an excuse. I think Liverpool were the best team last season, regardless. And I look at Arsenal and I think this is a signing where as I said, it's time to deliver. They can't do second place no more. They can't do third place. It's deliver the Champions League or the Premier League. That is the pressure Arteta has on him. That is the pressure that Arsenal as a football club have, and most certainly Viktor Gyokeres. And he should want to come into the Premier League with a chip on his shoulder. You listen to the noise. Listen to the noise. Listen to the doubt. Listen to the criticism. Same thing with Noni Madueke, like I said. These people should be sitting there and listening to the noise. Arsenal fans didn't want Noni. The noise around Viktor Gyokeres, oh, he's not the real deal. He's not. For me, I'm not super well versed on Gyokeres, so I can't say if he's the real deal or not. What I see in the videos, I'm like, he's okay, he's good, scores goals, which is important, ruthless. And if Arsenal can create at a level that we know they can, with Bukayo Saka, you need Odegaard to get back to what Odegaard can be. The football, the fluency that we expect from Arsenal, you should be getting chances. Now, a lot of the talk is also, Moreno scored goals as the 9, so why can't Gyokeres? Now, Moreno did score quite a few headers, and if you look at Gyokeres' statistics, heading statistics, it's not the greatest. So Moreno did score from some set pieces. Moreno did score headers, so maybe that's something that they're going to have to work out and see what they can do, because I saw a video of his headers and they were really poor. But again, these are all videos. One thing that I do like about Gyokeres is he will fight for every single ball. You put the ball in the channel, Gyokeres is battling. You put the ball on the right, on the left, Gyokeres is battling for them things. He makes it hard for defenders. Now, I remember I said one time that he gave Arsenal a tough game. And I didn't mean like, oh, he had chances, he was going to score a better goal. But when he was battling every single ball, he didn't make it comfortable for Saliba and Gabriel. It wasn't a comfortable evening. He got in their faces. He battled for everything. And in the Premier League, you need that. You need that. Now, they came out on top. They did. They came out on top physically. They came out on top mentally. However, when I look at him, the big thing about him from the videos that I see is that he looks physically on another level to the Portuguese league. Now, in the Premier League, is he going to be physically to another level? I doubt it. So how does he translate that from not being the most physically dominant player in the league? How does he translate that into his game? Because then you have to now start thinking about what's up there. You got to start using your IQ. You got to start using your mental. You got to start understanding the runs that you're going to make, the near post, the back post, when to drop back, when to go forward. So there's so many things that he's probably going to need to do more of. But he's a goal scorer. He's a natural goal scorer. So he should already have this in his package. But these videos that I see of him just pushing people out the way and running past loads of people, I'm not too sure if that's going to be the case in the Premier League. Just because of the sheer physicality and athleticism in the Prem. That's not to say, oh, he's not going to score goals in the Prem. It's just his level of the way he plays in Sporting and in the Portuguese league, I think is going to need to change. How are Arsenal going to use him? Is he going to just be in the box? Are they going to allow him to come outside the box? Are they going to allow him to go channels? It's going to be interesting. How does he fit into this team in terms of his style? Do they adapt to him, or does he adapt to Arsenal? Because he's a different player to Moreno. He's a different player to Havertz. So how are they going to adapt this in now? How is Saka going to find a connection with him? How is Martinelli? These are the questions that are going to be answered. But I think Arsenal are getting a goal scorer, which is important, which is what they needed. Do I feel like it was their first choice? I don't know. I feel like Arteta was leaning towards Sesko. It just felt, listen, I got no proof of that, but it just felt that way. But they got Viktor Gyokeres in. You look at his numbers, 116 goals and assists in 2 seasons. Now, I'm realistic, right? When I see people that are doing Messi and Ronaldo numbers, and then I have to look at you and I have to be like, let me see what you're really about. And I don't think he's that level. I think that's inflated numbers. I do think that is inflated numbers. I'm going to be honest. I think it's inflated, but it doesn't mean he can't come in and score goals in England. For me, the expectation for Viktor Gyokeres is 20 plus league goals. Havertz got 13 in his first season. Martinelli's hit 15 before. I think Saka's hit like 14, 13 as well. I think the expectation for him should be 20 plus. He should be coming into the Premier League and thinking, I can compete with Isak, Salah, Haaland for the golden boots. You're at Arsenal. You're a top team that create chances that are going to be there at the end of the season. And if they want to win the league, they're going to need a gunman. So I think Viktor Gyokeres, the pressure on him is to keep Arsenal as a title challenging, but also going to win the Premier League team or major trophy, but also be up there for the challenge for the Golden Boot. I don't think that's a massive ask in terms of like, oh, I'm doing too much or anything. I think that's a realistic ask. I really do think that's a realistic ask. So I'm definitely interested to see how this move works, how it's going to play out. The main thing I want to see is if it affects how Arsenal play, how Arsenal attack. Is it going to be more direct? Is it going to be a bit more long balls because he battles for every long ball? This is going to be interesting, you know? I do look at him. There is aspects of his game that I like. I think he's very good in transition. I think Arsenal are one of the worst teams in the Premier League at transition. In terms of turning a defense into attack quickly, I think Arsenal are very poor at it. Very poor. And for the standard that Arsenal are as well of a team, it baffles you why they're so bad in transition. I think Gyokeres is very good in transition. It looks like he is anyway. It looks like he's very good in transition. The running with the ball. You know, it's not pretty. He's a bit like Brock Lesnar, like, I'm just going to barge it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if you're putting that ball in the back of the net, what did Brock Lesnar say? Here comes the pain, right? So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter how it's done, but it needs to be done. That is the question. I mean, that is the pure and simple fact of it. As I said, I think he'll help them in transition. I like that aspect. I like how he just puts his foot through the ball as well. I've seen a couple composed finishes. He just wants to score goals. He likes to maneuver his own chances, and I think that is important. I don't think Havertz does that enough. Moreno didn't do that enough. Jesus can, but Jesus, I feel like in the final time when he's about to shoot, he takes an extra touch. He does. Gyokeres is somebody that can maneuver chances for himself, and I think that's super important as well, because sometimes in these big games, in these games against Liverpool, in these massive games against PSG, sometimes you're not creating things. You just need someone just give me the ball, back up, can I get turned and get a shot off? Harry Kane-esque, or prime Harry Kane anyway. And I think that's important. The touch, I'm not moved by his touch. I do want to see his physicality translate, you know, the heading. But overall, man, end of the day, they're getting to somebody that knows where the back of the net is, as I said already. But guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on. Let me know what you think Gyokeres is going to do at Arsenal. What's the expectation? How many goals is he going to get? Does this mean Arsenal have to now go on and win the league? What does this signing mean for Arsenal's future? Are you happy? If you're an Arsenal fan, are you happy with this signing? I can't wait to see it. You know, Arsenal signed Zubimendi. They've signed Gyokeres now. They've signed Mascara. They signed Kepa. Noni Madueke, that's 5. Am I missing somebody, people? Let me see Arsenal's transfer window. Arsenal transfers. I feel like I'm missing. You guys are probably shouting it right now. Like, you're missing out this person. Arsenal, I can't even find it. But yeah, for now, I'm counting 5 or 6 right now. And that's still, Eze apparently might be in the pipeline, but it's looking like that's gone quiet because the Ethan Wyneri deal. You know, my plea for Ethan to sign for Man United did not work. He did not answer my phone call. Bro, I was calling him, yo. He's not answering. Do you know what I mean? He's like, why is this guy calling my phone, man? Boop. And gave me the busy tone. But guys, man, are you excited for this signing? Viktor Gyokeres to Arsenal. 59 goals, is it? 59 goals he scored last season. Only wanted Arsenal, so he really wants to move. He's desperate for it. That means he's hungry. He wants to impress. For me, it doesn't really feel like an Arsenal striker, but Arsenal have moved away from that. I mean, he's got more goals in the league than he has games for Sporting. For Coventry, he scored 38 in 91. Then he went Sporting and scored 68 in 66. But he also has a great record for Sweden, 15 and 26. 68 and 66 is crazy. Did he do that in all comps? All comps, 97 in 102. Last season, 54 goals in 52 games. The season before that, 43 goals in 50 games. You know, he scored 22 goals in all comps in the Championship, 18. Listen, if you can bag 20 goals in the Championship, I'm telling you can score goals in the Premier League. If you can score 20 goals in the Championship, you can score 20 goals in the Premier League, bro. Or you can score goals in the Premier League, should I say. So he should be able to. Championship is also a physical league. It should be able to translate in theory. In theory. But we are going to see if the theory, you know, if the theory is correct. So, yeah, guys, man. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. It's your boy CultureCams. This is just a quick one. Big respect and love to everybody that's showing love on the Marcus Rashford video. You know, I just felt like I had to talk about that, and the reception has been unbelievable. It feels like a lot of people share the same frustrations. And listen, I will never shy away from conversations like that. You know what I mean? This is my platform. I can do what I want, you know, and I will speak on it. And I've seen that Gabriel Ogbonglahor and Ade Oladipo, or Adedipo, I can't remember his name, has also spoken about it as well on Talksport, same platform. That's good. Let's see if they hold him accountable. Let's see what Dean Saunders comes out and says from there. But guys, hope you enjoyed this video. It's your boy Coach Cams. I'm out. Peace. Like, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on.